we have 30 years, and we are like so happy about it. Others are saying, what do we have to celebrate? EDO at 30. Some are saying, oh, really 30 years? I didn't know about it. How come we clock 30? I mean, let's think from that dimension right now, away with the vaccination thing. We've talked extensively on it. EDO at 30, the journey thus far. Barrister A.B. Thabot.
Well, EDO at 30 is what celebrating. If not that too much gathering of people in a particular place may also attract COVID-19. EDO at 30 is worth celebrating. If you minus 30 years, the three of us here now, if you minus 30 years from your age, I don't think you can even remember what you were doing 30 years ago. That we are alive, we give glory to Almighty Allah. EDO has been a very peaceful place. Unlike other states where you have been having communal clashes of high proportions, mark you, of high proportions. EDO has been relatively calm until this issue of foreigners coming to kidnap came. EDO has been progressing. If you look at the infrastructure that we had 30 years ago, when I was 35 years old, now I'm 65, I can see more infrastructure compared to when I was 35. I can see roads widened. I can see the standard of living of many Nigerians going down. That too has to do with the economics. Yes, some people say it is a plus and minus, because if those who have been running the affairs of the state for 30 years have been running it honestly, we should have become a more industrialized state than we are now. That is true. But these same people are not from Anambra, they are not from Jigawa, they are from Edo State here. You imagine you go to your village, you were using a Volkswagen, and after serving the government to come back with the same Volkswagen, your people will not give you front seat in your church. They won't give you front seat in your mosque. They say you didn't go there to do well. So our people are part of the problem of underdevelopment of Edo State. But most importantly is the fact that there has been infrastructural development in terms of roads, schools. We have seen this. In those days, it was very common to find children sitting on the ground to write. In those days, it was very common to find 90% of the schools in Edo State having leaky roofs. It was very common. In those days, you can just see somebody pulling along the street. Now we are beginning to get conscious that we shouldn't do that. In those days, it was easier for teachers to go on strike indefinitely. They still go on strike now, but it is not as frequent as it was. We are developing. As far as I'm concerned, we are developing. Oh, right. But we still have to look at our greedy nature.
Okay. We still have to look at our greedy nature. Honorable Desmond, 30 years. Is it worth celebrating?
A child who has attained the age of 30 would have achieved a lot, if not completely all that is required within that age frame. It's just too unfortunate that there has not been any consistent improvement on previous and successive governments. Edo State, as you can see, came out from Bende State. First, it was Midwest in 1963, the first ever referendum gave Midwest to this part of this country. And after some years, it became Bendel State when states were created. And from Bendel State, in 1991, Edo State emerged. And we were very happy. We knew the roles some of our leaders, particularly the Oba of Benin, Oba Ediawa, Isama, and a host of others played in the emergence of Edo that we are all enjoying today. We can't say that Edo has not achieved anything, but the level of achievement is what we need to talk about. That Edo State is 30 today. Our governor is flagging off 10 million tree planting to celebrate Edo at 30. That is a misplaced priority. Because we have the Ministry of Agric, we have the forest officers, we have the Ministry of Department of Forestry.
Is it a crime to flag off tree planting for crime?
To mark Edo at 30?
That's just one of the things he did.
Let me tell you this. Allow me to say this. Yes, we should have been talking about what Edo has done, what Edo have not done well, what the current government intends to do to mark today's, this year's Edo at 30. To also remember those who fought gallantly for the creation of Edo State, so that you can also encourage those who have such mind to bring in good things, so that by tomorrow, if they know that their names will be remembered, they will continue to do it even when nobody paid them. But yet, we are flagging off planting of 10 million trees. Let me say this. Only recently, about July, the state government lifted the ban on these licensees, those loggers.
Yes, in the forest.
In the forest. And I know that department, there is a law that says that if you cut one tree, you plant 2 trees. If you are giving them license, there is also a caveat that you are entitled to plant as you are cutting the tree you are planting. That is forest regeneration. And you are also aware that the major forest in Edo State has been given to foreigners. And yet, the free areas they left, they call buffer, left for the locals. What happened to the buffers or to the free areas? Where in those days, you see area forest officers, before they allocate that forest reserve for the farmers, they will ask them to plant. That is when they were planting Miliana and teak. In those days when we are going to farm, we will pick from those teak and Miliana to go and plant in our old farm or the new ones in a bid to regenerate the one you have deforested. What happens to all those policies? And today, these people you newly gave license to go to the forest to cut the timbers, of which the timbers, the one we see today, are the ones we call raping. Small log. They say you are raping the forest. Because those are the logs that were prohibited by the enabling law that even gave the government the impetus to set up forestry task force on forestry to check the size of logs they bring to sawmills and all that. Even the activities of this rough saw or sawing at storm site is against the law. It's against the law. Who is enforcing it? Nobody is enforcing it. Right. And now we are talking about using another 10 years as a major achievement to mark 30 years of Edo existence. Well, it's very appalling.
All right, the governor said that is a major achievement. He said part of the activities to mark people will be like, there's something wrong with that. Anyway, we'll come back after this break to continue this discussion. Do not go anywhere. We'll be right back.
TMI, every opinion counts.
Thank you so much for staying tuned. About to commence our descent to this particular segment, talking about EDO AT 30. Don't forget that we have an appearance with New Meal Properties. They have a rep to tell us what they have in store for us today, this beautiful Sunday on This Morning ITV. Well, Barrister A.B. Thomas and Honorable Desmond Dubois have been talking at length on the two topics before you want to commence our descent right now, talking about EDO AT 30. Is a continuum. You have so much to say, but we're pressed for time.
Yes, I will quickly say that government is a continuum. Right from the time of Chief Odigio Yegun down to Lucky Bilejo, Osumbo, and all others, they have all contributed in one way or the other to develop the state. If somebody was not constructing road, one was paying salaries regularly. As at when due, the state has been going on. And this is one state, in the past 30 years, I can tell you, we have not had any serious communal clashes as we are seeing in Plateau or Benue. And I can tell you straight away that when Ashomole came, he also did his own bit to develop the state. And this present governor has been doing his own bit to develop the state. But the point is, when we are talking of what have we achieved, we should not look at the leaders alone. We should also look at the legs. There are some people in Edo State who have become perpetual and perennial government pickings.
All right, all right.
So the greed of those who want to remain in government forever as commissioners and this and that are part of those drawing us backwards.
Okay, thank you so much. We're pressed for time. Honorable Desmond, please, 2 minutes.
Thank you. I think what I have to advise the state government at this particular moment is to take the issue of insecurity very seriously. The issue of joblessness, the issue of the enabling environment, let it be created for people to strive, for business to thrive, for citizens to be comfortable. I know the government cannot do everything themselves, but we, the led, should also do our bit to ensure that the crime in the society is reduced.
All right. Thank you so much, gentlemen. We're pressed for time, but would have gone further than this. Gentlemen, I appreciate a wonderful analysis. First discussion segment, second discussion segment, you were on point. I really appreciate your analysis. Well, that's it for this discussion segment.